Hey, how's it going today? You may or may not have noticed the link on the last video for my Patreon. If anyone decides to be on the Patreon, I suggest only the first level for now. I want to focus on the first level. It's only $15 a month, but if you don't want to be on Patreon, that's fine too. So I was going over some comments on one of the videos, and a person asked me a few questions about some stuff, so I decided to cover it at this time. They asked me what I thought about QYLD, who has about an 11% yield, and it's a monthly. Now, would that be good to have a monthly yielding stock? Or in this case, this is not a stock, it's a covered call. It's an ETF covered call, which is different, but it still pays monthly. I still am not going to cover that on this video, but on a later video I will cover covered call ETFs, covered call stocks, and other things like that, but not on this particular video. If it were me and I had a Roth or a 401k that was tax deferred, I like QYLD. There's a little situation that I was studying about QYLD that to me made it look less desirable for my taxable account. And it has to do with dividends, paying stocks, and the way that it's structured, it didn't look so good. I'm going to go and do a little bit more investigation before I would put that into my personal taxable account. But looking long term, QYLD doesn't seem to be a bad pick if you're going to put it in a Roth or a 401k. If I were going to get a Roth or a 401k, I would consider QYLD. NUSI is monthly, and I like NUSI's yield. It's 7%. That's a little low for me. I like 5% and above, so it meets the basic criteria. But it's a little low. It's not 3% low. It's not 2% low. I prefer. I like the 10, 11%. But if it's bare basic essentials 7%, okay. And the reason that this would be okay is because in less than 20 years, some people who might be 15 or 20 years away from retirement, if they put this particular stock in and reinvest the dividends, to me, that looks like I would do something like that with NUSI if I had a 401k, if I had a Roth. Now, you'd have to ask your financial advisor to be sure. I was looking at this one, JEPI, and I was looking at it's close to the resistance level, and the yield for me, I don't like the particular yield. So for me, I would not put that in my Roth IRA. I would not put that in my 401k if I had one. I don't particularly like JEPI. I'm going to keep an eye on it and look at it a little further. If I change my mind, I will update it in a later video. It's like Coca-Cola, KO. I haven't changed my mind about Coca-Cola. Its yield is still too low, and I would not want to do a covered call on it, and I would not want to do a short on it. The only thing I like to do with Coca-Cola is I used to like to drink it, but now they're getting too political, so I don't even want to deal with Coca-Cola. But now, if you want to have QYLD, which is a monthly, I said it once, I would not want to have that in my taxable account. NUSI would not be a bad stock to put in a monthly account. I mean, it's a monthly stock. It would not be a bad stock for me, although I haven't purchased it yet, to put it in my taxable account. Goff, G-O-F, not golf, but Goff, I like that stock for a monthly stock in a taxable account if the earnings per share goes up a little bit. the earnings per share, it looked like there was no earnings per share. I don't know whether that means that it was used up in a dividend or not, but there's no earnings per share. I would like to see an earnings per share that would easily cover the dividend. But is it something that could be put in a taxable account? I would think so, if you talk to your financial advisor. I also looked at PDI. I like that's yield. It's almost 10%. When I looked it up online today, I like that particular stock. ORC is a monthly stock that I own. I like that particular stock. XYLD is about 9%. And if you talk to your financial advisor, he might tell you to put that in your taxable account. When I looked up SWSSX, I personally did not want to put that into my account. I was looking at that and looking at that. And so as the recap, I would not like SWSSX in either my 401k or my monthly account. XYLD looks like it might not be a bad pick for, as I said, the outside of the Roth. You could put it in the you could put it in your Roth if you like to. I like looking at, as I said, Golf, PDI, ORC, QYLD, and USI seem to me not to be bad picks. So if you have any more questions, I'm going to be looking at what I can do for you on my Patreon. But if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments down below. I think that the person that asked me these questions got a full understanding of all of my understanding about these particular stocks, covered called ETFs, and then also ETFs. First of all, an ETF does create diversification, instant diversification. You have to make sure that the fund doesn't charge you more than 0.5%. The lower the cost makes an ETF instant diversification. If the yield is good and it's got 0.04 or 0.02, that would be ideal. So as I said, if the yield is high enough, I like a 9, 10, 11% yield for the ETFs. If it doesn't match that, I'm not thinking about putting it into a 401k if I had a 401k or a Roth IRA if I had a Roth IRA. So at this point, I am going to catch you on the next video, so see you around then.